Good afternoon, everybody. This is Match Day, and I'm Vince. And in the middle is Ian Mulliner, not to be confused with Ian Barker. Some of you that join us on the TGIFs, Mully got a little confused, and he is now on Wednesday. But our special guest is, and she's on the right of my screen, is Deb Raber. Deb is the coach at MCLA, Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts. She's also on our United Soccer Coaches educational staff and a fantastic instructor, but even a better person. And she's going to share a little bit, kind of like what Sarah did today for those who joined, just a little bit about staying connected. But this is a little unique and a little different, and then we'll go from there. But before we do that, Deb, first off, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for asking me to do this.
Oh, thank you.
Vince, before we get going, can I just give a big shout out to all those people that are keeping our country running? You know, all the people on the front lines in the hospitals, even the folks who are restocking shelves, the people who are delivering copious boxes to my house every day. Thank you so much for all you do for keeping us running.
Yeah, no, you're right. And thank you for doing that. Yeah, I was sharing with someone, I think it's neat that they're getting headlines, right? You know, where sports, our athletes, you tend to get those headlines, but they're getting them, and teachers too. I think parents are finally figuring out, oh, maybe teaching is a hard profession. Maybe right. So anyway, so anymore, we'll jump on with some questions. But Deb, before we get going, let's, if you don't mind, let's talk about your journey a little bit. How'd you get to where you are, and your
very, very unexpected. Right place, right time. Very unexpected. I never in a million years did I think I was going to be coaching when I was in undergrad, and I was right place, right time. So when I graduated from Green Mountain College, the coach at Castleton State just left in the middle of July, which put me as kind of like right place, right time. And they needed a coach. And, you know, in some ways at 22, I'm not quite sure that was a good move to hire a 22-year-old, but bless the folks that did at Castleton State. And then went on to get my master's at Springfield College with much, much needed education, and then landed at MCLA 20 years ago. And love the Berkshires, wouldn't change where I am for a thing. But, you know, in my journey, I worked construction so I could keep coaching. I worked for Killington Mountain so I could keep coaching. You know, you do what you got to do to follow your passion. And, you know, that's what I had to do. I had to run a jackhammer some days just to make sure that I could coach.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, Mully, I'm sure you can share some of that too, right? I mean, you know, we all kind of did some things. But no, Deb, so we were talking a little bit before, you know, getting on. So basically what you're doing now, your players came up with the idea.
Yeah. So as most of you guys know who are in Division III, you know that our rules are very, very limiting as to the contact that we can have with our student athletes, especially in the spring semester. We're really only allowed our 5 weeks of contact. So now so the question became like, how do we keep kids engaged the whole time to stay fit, you know, from basically the time they get back to school in January until we start our non-traditional season in April? How do we keep the kids connected? How do we keep them fit? And, you know, I spoke about it at the convention too. And one of our rising seniors came to me, and I'll give a shout out to Tara Moore. She's a rising senior in our program. And she said, Coach, what about if we start this idea of fitness families? And so, you know, we got talking about it, and I was like, yeah, okay, let's run with it. Let's do it. And basically what it is in the fitness families is we took our program and we broke it into 5 different groups. And we came up with basically a family leader, a family head. So it also gave us an opportunity to start a leadership track too within our program. And, you know, to backtrack a little bit, in the past, we've had touch points throughout the summer when it was we used to do it by region. And what we found that those groups were actually way too big. So it'd be like, you know, 8-10 kids in a group, and it was too big. They weren't talking in group chats. So what we decided too earlier on is we were going to make our summer groups smaller. So basically what Satara's idea was is kind of like fast forward it and start it in January. So we still were working in the confines of the rules of the NCAA. I was not involved. It was all run by the students. And as their strength and conditioning coach, I can only do so much as well. And so what they started doing in their groups is they would send each other videos of each other working out. They would give each other shout outs when someone did something really well within their fitness family groups. They were, and that was more than just fitness too. It turned into an academic part too. So say you got an A on a paper, someone in your group would be like, hey, high five, awesome job on that test today. And so with the smaller groups, we found that the women are more apt to share and more apt to get involved.
Sure.
And then, fast forward to March, and lo and behold, we're not coming back to school. And so what this fitness family idea has turned into has been not only just like a fitness support, but it's been even more so and more importantly, a social emotional support for the women throughout this whole COVID time together. So within the fitness families, they've been checking in with each other. I don't even know how often it is. I think a lot of the groups are texting every single day. Yeah. They've gotten on Skype. They've gotten on Zoom calls with each other. They're FaceTiming with each other. One of the women said to me today, she was like, I saw where a group member, one of her fitness family group members went out and went for a run this morning and then sent it to the rest of the group. So she was like, wow, now it makes me feel like I want to get out and go for a run now too. So yeah, it's been like a support as well as that too. And it's been amazing seeing how well our group has stayed connected throughout this time.
No, that's good. So obviously it's driven right internally, which is always better. We know that. As opposed to, extrinsic. So you've got incoming freshmen coming in. Are they get involved or no?
They will be involved at some point. We have to abide by rules. Yep. We have to abide by those rules of when and the timing of when kids deposit. And for all the team stuff that's going on right now, they cannot be a part of anything if I'm involved. So again, it will be our non-traditional, if we were actually on campus, would have ended yesterday. So we, believe me, I counted the days and every single time I wanted to be on the field with them. But what we kept saying in our team Zoom calls as well was this is an opportunity to reinvent ourselves. We can't be together on the field, so let's really start working on more of the cultural side of our program. And here's an opportunity. We're a captured audience. Let's do it. So we've been doing all kinds of different things on our Zoom calls. We've been using breakout rooms and playing Pictionary. They don't know it yet, but they're playing charades on Tuesday through Zoom. So and again,
how do you do that?
Back that camera up and go through the motions of how I am not doing it right now, and I know what you're trying to get me to do, and I'm not doing it right now. We should make Molly do it.
Yes.
Oh,
right.
I'd do it. That's the problem.
All right.
You don't want that.
We should replicate the Geico commercial with the sloth drawn the Kingdom bicycle. What a great commercial in Pictionary. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. So we've also had like small group. Oh, we also did a Kahoot too, which was really cool. And it was like the kids who are in one of the fitness family groups were talking about like, what can we do to help our team and pass time? And so one of the groups came up with the idea of doing a team Kahoot. So they put it all together, or one of the members put it all together. It was awesome. And we all got on Zoom last week and we did it. And man, we learned so much about each other. I learned a lot more about them than I thought I was going to learn. Yeah. It was really cool. And again, it's driven by them. And I think that's the most important part to this is I've been a very little part of it. And it's just been awesome to see them take what could be a challenging time and really come together as a team. And I think it's being mostly driven by this fitness family idea.
Yeah. Molly, do you have any questions? I mean, I can
Yeah, I do actually, because it brings up some interesting things. It's one of the things, I'm going to use the word concerns, that concerns me. There, I used it. And it's when we do return to play and we're actually allowed to be around each other again. I'm not sure that people have fully understood that connection piece that you were talking to, or speaking to there, Deb, that your players have started to go down that path of feeling more connected. I can't imagine what it's going to be like on the first day that they're actually allowed to be close enough to each other, but maybe shouldn't be hugging each other and high-fiving, because that's what I'm envisaging when we go back, return to play, period. So how do you think that's going to be?
I think that's a really good question. I'm not 100% sure how it's all going to go, but it's already in my mind. Like that first day and a half, I'm just going to let them hang out. Because I do think it's one thing for all of us to sit here right at our screens, but it's like you go to the store and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a real human being. When you can go to a store, we've been trying to do our part, but you're like, wow, it's actually a physical human being. And I have put some thought into it, and I think that first day when we first come together is just going to be, let's hang out, let's chat, let's share our stories. They've shared plenty through their screens. But, there's something different when you're sitting in a room physically with someone. So, and I think that's going to be an incredibly important piece to all of this is recognizing we need human contact at some point. And it might not just be, not the high fives, not the hugs, but like even just sitting 6 feet away from someone and just talking. I think that's going to be really important. It is going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens when we all finally are able to come together. But I do know the groundwork that's going on right now through the fitness families is going to be a huge part of what's going on, because they'll stay connected through the summer too with all of this.
So what like activities do they do on the fitness? Like, do they just like, is it, body strength stuff? Is it cardio?
Yeah, so a lot of it early on, we spoke a lot early on about making sure that they were in the right place mentally. Like that, I could care less about them working out early on. What took precedence was like, how are you psychologically? Are you okay? Are you adjusting to your academics at home? It's one thing to take 3 credits online. It's an entirely different thing to take 18 credits online, and 8 of your credits are a lab. So just making sure early on, like that emotional support of each other was vital. They have done workouts together. They found different workouts online together, and then, FaceTime is a lovely thing, and they'll support each other through that. And I foresee it growing, more of the fitness part growing, but the main focus has been the social emotional part right now.
Yeah. Have you seen other sports at your school kind of, try and model what you're doing, or everyone's just kind of doing their own thing?
We're kind of doing our own thing. I do know there are some sports staying connected through Zoom calls where, the extent of what they're doing, I'm not quite sure, but the other thing that we tapped into is we have some amazing professors on our campus. Like, why not? This is an awesome time to tap into their knowledge. So like our team met yesterday with one of our psychology professors who did a goal setting session for them.
Okay.
And so, they've been given the challenge to do all of their personal individual goals now. And so that will be shared within their fitness families as well, so that they can keep encouraging and motivating each other through, because we all know that if you don't have accountability with goal setting, it's not going to work for you.
Right.
So this fitness family idea has also turned into accountability for goal setting, and that will continue throughout. And their goals are all shared through like a Google Doc. And yes, Vince, thank you very much for the app idea. We use Glide apps. I think that thing is absolutely brilliant, and I have you to thank for that.
That's my one contribution.
Are you kidding me? You've taught me so much, my friend, so much.
No, thank you. No, I'm glad it's helped. And Ian, anything you want to add? I mean, we're about 15 minutes in. It's been really good. When you presented this idea to me, I thought, man, what a unique way of doing it, right? Instead of the coach driving it, the players are driving it. And I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Molly. Anything?
Yeah.
I'm feeling like Debbie Downer here. Sorry, Deb, didn't mean to take your name in vain there. But it's things I could imagine goofy things happening because of course it's me, and I can always imagine goofy things happening. I benched 375 today. Anybody up for that challenge? And I can't bench anywhere near 375, but idiot me goes and gives it a try. So, I mean, how do you manage that aspect of it that you stay within the realms of capability?
Oh, yeah. So when it comes to it, like the workout part, our program, like our women's program, we were in the weight room together. Because again, like I am their strength and conditioning coach as well. The life of a Division III coach with multiple hats. So we spend a lot of time making sure that we're doing things appropriately, correctly. Leave the ego at the door when you walk in the weight room, because it is going to lead to someone getting hurt. And especially our women's soccer team and our men's soccer team, 2 teams in particular, did an absolutely tremendous job right up until we had to go home. And so I don't foresee that happening with our group, but I definitely see that happening with some groups. And I think we're so limited right now too, is like, if you don't have that weight set at home, you got to get creative real quick with like your body weight exercises and, and whatnot. But yeah, I could totally see someone trying to do something crazy. I've seen some interesting things online, let me tell you. That is for sure.
I'm not going there right now. No,
yeah, that's a whole nother webinar.
Yes, it is. I'm just thinking like personal bests and stuff like that could also come into play, just in terms of keeping it manageable for them. This week I was able to do 15 sets, and next week I'll be able to do 16 and a half or something crazy like that, but not so crazy that it's going to overexert them and injure them, even though you've got that emotional support aspect. And I'd still maintain that that's probably the best part out of the whole program. Aside from the fitness piece, the connection piece is, as I said earlier, is just so overlooked. So kudos to your team for doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, and I will have to say, like, everything right now, fitness is backseat to social emotional support for this group for sure. And it is a time. Yeah, and it is a time for us to reinvent a lot of things of what we're doing. It's a time for self-exploration. So we've been doing a lot of that as a program, values exploration, cultural, like, how do we want to be? You talked about, Vince, you asked me, what other things are they doing in their small groups? They've been tasked with coming up with a list of how do you want to be on the other side of this? Both as a program and as a team, what do you think we need to focus in on? And it goes back to like being able to control what we can control right now. We can't control what's going on the outside, but we can control what's going on in our program, how we're going to react to it, and an opportunity to reinvent what we do.
Yep. No, I think, I mean, we still don't know how it's going to look when we come out of this, but there's been I think there could be a lot of good that comes out of this too, when we head back. But, so we might not see U6 soccer for a while, right? Because they don't know how to spread out. They have no idea. So no physical there. But no, Deb, thank you so much. It's we've gone over time, and the comments in the chat box are positive, and that's great. No real questions, but just I think people are, curious on just different ways, right? I mean, so I can see a high school coach reaching out to their senior leadership saying, "Hey, I heard of this fitness family thing. Why don't we try that?" So there's lots of applicability for other ages and groups, and so thank you so much. Molly, last word.
No, it's very impressive. It really is, and I really love the fact that you've highlighted the connectivity piece, because again, it's a concern for us when we get back outside of how we're all going to have to monitor our own behavior and then monitor everybody else's, just to make sure that we stay safe. So, thank you for doing that, and again, awesome job.
Hey,
thank you so much, Molly. That means a lot.
By the way, so I was just kidding. Darius, who is one of our loyal people that comes on, asked a quick question.
Yep.
And I think this is more for, I'm guessing more strength and conditioning. In terms of planning, what's more important, stamina or strength?
I think right now it's a difficult time right now because, we've had this discussion. It's kind of like we've had a lot of discussions even within our own team. So say we have 2 women who live in Dorchester, right? They are so limited by where they can go for a run. Well, we have another kid who lives in upstate Vermont and another kid who lives up on the mountain here in Western Mass. Those 2 can go for a run for 20 miles and see no one. Or you got, our kid who lives up in northern Vermont, her backyard is sloped. So how do we plan for running half field shuttles with a sloped backyard? So that's where I'm so excited that we did such a good job as far as setting them, not knowing we were setting them up for success before they left, but in the weight room and doing all the different things that we were doing with them, setting them up for success for when they got home. I mean, right now it's so situational. Like, what do you have access to for weights? Are we going to see a gym the rest of the summer? So now as our strength coach, I've had to readjust all of our summer planning to body weight workouts.
Okay. Yep.
So it's been interesting. And what do I do with the kid who lives in Manhattan right now? Because we have those kids from New York City and we have the kids from downtown Boston, and that's going to become a challenge, but we're going to get through it together. And I'm here for them, and we're going to get through this.
Yep. No, that's good. Darius said thank you. So that was good. You must have hit it right on the money. So, Deb, we kept you too long, and I have to go far, or try to. So, yeah. One of those oil change places, they forgot to put the drain plug back on. It's just like, really? Anyway. Yeah. So anyway,
at least you can find your way back there.
Yeah. No, I'm not
that's a good one.
I'm not driving that thing, but thank you all so much for my man Molly. Thank you so much, and we will thank Mulliner, by the way, on TGIF, and we are planning for a fun TGIF this week. So for those that dare to come back on Friday at 4:00 Eastern time. Yeah, good luck. Molly will be back. But tomorrow we have, so Deb is a queen, right? I mean, that's what my stepdaughter called her, a woman, right? Strong female, rock star female, so like my wife is a queen, and all that. And so we have 2 queens coming on tomorrow too. We have Lauren Glancy from Atlanta United. And we have, we also have, senior moment here. Oh, goodness gracious. Erica Dombach, or the former Erica Walsh.
Big time.
Yep. So really good lineup for tomorrow. But Molly, thank you so much. Coach Raber, thank you so much. God bless everybody. And we will we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Molly.
Thanks, Vince. Peace out.